Hey guys, my name's Emma and I run a small micro bakery out of my kitchen, a home bakery out of my cottage. It's called Em's Enchanted Oven and I posted some vlogs, I think a few vlogs in the fall/winter market season, but now it is time for the spring market season is finally upon us. I decided to start recording again. So before this market, I did two other markets. They were both high school craft fairs. They were smaller ones to get into. The bigger high school craft fairs are harder to get into around here and they have a lot of established vendors. So those went okay, but here we are prepping for a little bit of a strange one for me. So this market was completely free for me. It is at the Garten, which is in Severna Park. And basically, they're just early days trying to establish a market every single Saturday morning. It's 8 to 11. And so, right now, signing up to be a vendor is free. And there are options between getting a picnic spot, a picnic table spot, or a parking lot spot where you can like put up your tent. And since I did purchase a tent, very exciting, I went ahead and opted in for the parking lot so I could practice setting up there. This was me getting ready for that first week. I do end up being a recurring vendor at this market. I'm a little bit behind. This was for the market on 4/4. Let's get into the baking of it all and we can come back to the market details later. But basically, I work a full-time job, unfortunately, and it has been very stressful lately, but let's not talk about that. Yeah, so I feed my sourdough starter Thursday before work a whole lot, and then Thursday when I get home, I get right to work into the bakery, work 10 hours and then go home and clock into the bakery, but this is really my passion, so no regrets at all. I start off with my sourdough. I did focaccia and sourdough loaves this week, and then also these cookies that you're seeing now. Basically, I did chocolate chip cookies and s'mores cookies this week. I really didn't know what would sell, and usually I do like a full cookie bar, but I wasn't confident in being able to sell all the cookies, so I didn't do that. But the s'mores are my best seller, so I went ahead with those, and then chocolate chip. Who doesn't like chocolate chip? The dough I make over the previous weekend, so I think I maybe over the week, but I think I made these on Sunday, and then I put them in the fridge for a little bit to let it chill, and then I portion them all out to the correct amount of ounces. I take them out of the freezer the day before or so. So now it is the next morning. It is Thursday morning, bright and early around 6 a.m. I get up and continue. I let my sourdough bulk ferment on the counter overnight instead of during the day. Ideally, it would be during the day and they would be able to cold proof in the fridge for that second time, but I don't have that much time, so I have to watch them very closely and do their final proof on the counter. It's scary, but so far so good. I don't like it's been a little over a year since I first started doing sourdough. It's pretty crazy. I believe this week I took 2 loaves of sourdough and maybe 5 focaccia. I'm not totally sure. Like I said, I've done 3 markets since recording this these videos, so I'm not totally sure. So when I get up in the morning, I divide out all the dough that has been bulk fermenting on my counter. So I did 2 loaves of sourdough this week, so I split it up into 2 and I did the pre-shape and I let that sit for 30 minutes to an hour. And then this is the focaccia dough. It's super wiggly. It's much stickier because of the honey in it. And everything, the focaccia and the sourdough loaves, I bake in these loaf pans. I can't do the open bake. I don't have a convection oven. I've tried the open bake a lot with the sourdough and I just don't get consistent results, so I'm not confident in doing that for a bake day. But the loaves are always amazing, and I kind of prefer the loaves if I'm being honest, because then it comes out into like slices of bread that are, well, one, consistent, and two, they're just easier to make sandwiches that way. Whenever I am dealing with the focaccia and the sourdough loaves like this, I always handle the sourdough loaves first and then I go to the focaccia. because the focaccia dough has honey and olive oil in it. And obviously I wash my hands a lot, but just going and handling the one that has all the same ingredients, which is the sourdough loaves, which is just salt, flour, water. Handling that first is just the safest way to go. You never want to cross contaminate. And now I'm just doing the final shaping of the loaves and putting them into their loaf pans, and then they will sit out on the counter for probably about an hour and a half. I always temp it, but my house is pretty cold, and I keep an eye on it. I always like having peaceful mornings, baking and stuff. This bakery and baking and meeting people and vending and everything has been such a light and such a joy. I finally decided to have some breakfast myself, and it was some of my seeded bread, which I forgot I also did make some seeded loaves this week. They did not sell. I think one sold. And now I'm making cinnamon rolls. Yeah, I forgot about the cinnamon rolls too. I decided to take a swing and make cinnamon rolls. I made two different kinds. I made regular and then I made chai. I also had two people coming and picking up orders from my house this week. So basically I opened up orders on Hotplate, which is hotplate.com/oven, and I'm doing pickups at whatever market I'm doing. However, my coworkers were not able to come to the market and they still wanted to order from me, and I didn't want to miss out on the sales. Plus, just like I know them, so it's not like strangers coming to my house. So I let them come. I don't really like doing that. Like I do not prefer that at all unless it's like one of my besties in my family. But so got some pre-orders that way, and I think I had more to pick up at the market too. Hotplate has been really cool. I have mostly been getting orders from people that I know, but I've gotten a few from people from posting on social media. I've really been trying to post a lot more on social media. I have my Instagram and Facebook linked, so when I post on Instagram, it goes to Facebook. Also on TikTok a little bit, on Nextdoor. I think that's everything. In some Facebook groups even. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm so out of touch because I was like trying to learn how to use Instagram. Baked up my cookies and they look so delicious and beautiful. Although to be totally honest with you, I don't even like sweets that much. I mostly like the bread. So when I started making the focaccia, and even late in the next video when I make the scones, oh my gosh. That is how I want to end up eating my product. One thing about these cinnamon rolls is that I rolled them out way too thick. I mean, I didn't roll them out enough. Like they're supposed to be thin, but they ended up being massive, which was absolutely insane. But it is what it is. We worked with it. I just used some of my massive boxes for some of them, and I called them oversized, and then I called the other ones jumbo because like just the normal cinnamon rolls that I make are pretty big. One thing about being a cottage baker in Maryland is that we cannot use our own icing. So we can, but we have to send it to a lab, which costs a lab fee. I think it's around $50. So it does cost quite a bit to send out the frosting or icing for testing. And it's like, I think it's a water activity or water content and pH. And then you can also fail and have to send it again. So instead of doing that, I was emailing back and forth with the health department, and she suggested just going and buying a large pack of shelf stable icing from Sam's Club. And so it's buttercream, but who doesn't like buttercream? This thermal printer, I just got it. This was my first market using it because up to this point I have been using the print and cut feature on my Cricut, and it's just not it. So I stopped doing that. Whenever I take out my loaves of focaccia or sourdough, I always temp them as well, or whatever loaves I'm taking out. I take the internal temperature, and I like it to be between 190 and 210. And if they're not, I'll put them back in. A good thing about making cinnamon rolls is that you get to eat the ugly parts. You get to keep that, and you don't feel like you're wasting products by eating it. Super duper good. And then I just did a little photo shoot with my cinnamon rolls. Took them outside even though my grass is dead because this was, again, very early April. The grass looks a lot greener now, which is kind of a nice comparison to do. And then I showed me packaging up a bit. I feel like people never show packaging stuff in the video, so I kept a little bit of this in, but it's literally just the same thing over and over again. My least favorite part is definitely making labels and packaging. If anyone wants to come work for free, let me know because I will hire you on the spot. Especially having to build these boxes last minute for the oversized cinnamon rolls. Here is the seeded loaves. I also topped them and then I took a little break outside enjoying the sun, sitting in my little swinging camper chair. And this is what one of the focaccias looked like. They smelled so good I wanted to eat them. I think I did regular and then I did a bunch of rosemary. No, it actually smelled so insane, like you don't understand. And then I took a break and my fiance got us some sushi Q. We love sushi Q here. Just what a good refreshing break. Went right back to baking. I feel like I always have a timer on. I always have the oven on. This is my first time using the rubber bands for these loaves and I think it worked excellent. I did top them before with the loaf pans upside down like that, but the rubber bands, they're silicone rubber bands. They really help keep everything together. Put everything back in together and it came out nice and golden brown and delicious, and these sourdoughs are just, they look so beautiful. I'm always so glad when things come out looking so nice on bake days. And then I packaged everything up. I didn't record everything, but I finished around 5 p.m. Alright, now it is the next morning. Had to get up bright and early at like 5:45 for this because I wanted to do a little bit of makeup, and then we had to leave the house around 6:30ish to get down to Severna Park. And then I didn't record the setup this time. I forgot because it was my first time here and I was overwhelmed. But here is the beautiful setup. Finished right before 8 when it opened and started. And here's just a little bit more of the garden. It's so cute. So there was like the main picnic part and I was over in the parking lot. It was just 2 other vendors and nobody knew we were there. This was the only bad thing about this.
So we're set up here. People come from like around that corner.
They're learning, you know. This was the first market of the season for this market as well. And here's a little customer interaction clip that I accidentally recorded for you.
Hi. Hi, good morning. How are you guys doing?
Good now.
Yeah, the s'mores are the best seller.
Sourdough focaccia.
Yeah, the focaccia is so good. Do you make sourdough?
I stopped because I
Sourdough
was having-
focaccia?
that I might have to try.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it smells so good when it was baking.
Do you make all these yourself?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, the cinnamon rolls, I have, most of them are chai that are left, but I think this one's the last regular one. Just the focaccia?
Yeah.
Alright, it's gonna be $6. Do you want a bag for it, or you just want to put it in? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys come to this market often?
I did last year.
Okay, yeah,
And,
this is the first one of the season, so that makes sense.
Yeah, so, and I feel like it's gonna get bigger and bigger.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm super excited. It's my first time being here at all.
They should have a little sign to let people know you're back here.
Yeah,
because-
maybe I'll give that feedback. I also have, if you guys come next week, I have a 10% off $10 or more.
Okay.
And then my social media and stuff's on there also because I've been trying to get up my social media posting
Good
and
for
stuff.
you.
And then I also take pre-orders, and that's also on there. And there's a coupon code to get the
I would buy these, so I'm coming back next week.
Okay, yeah, maybe next week.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so there was someone who came by and she was like, "Oh, were you at the market last week?" Which is the market that I did last week. I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes I was. Oh my gosh." I was like, "I can't believe that you recognize me." Da-da-da. I don't know. She's like, "Oh my gosh, your chocolate biscuits were so good. I need to get some more." And she bought some more. And then I asked like, "Oh, do you guys come to this market often?" Which is what I asked because it's my first market here. I just want to know what the deal is. And then she was like, "Actually, it's my first time here. I'm only here because of you. Because I knew you were gonna be here." What? I was like, you just made my day. I'm gonna tell everybody about this. Oh my gosh. Also, my phone's overheating, but we did hit my goal a little while ago for this market. It was free to come here, but I still like have a goal. Usually it's 5 times the vendor fee. So that included my pre-orders, but now for just being here, we're about to hit my other goal of $5 away.
Hello, it is Emma from the future coming to you for a debrief of this market. First, let's talk about my hot plate drop. So I've been trying to grow my pre-orders kind of successfully. Mostly people that I know have been ordering, but I am telling people who buy directly from the markets that I do pre-orders. And if they want to make sure they get something, they can order it online, that kind of thing. And I give out a little coupon also at my previous event. So the event before this one was at a high school craft fair, and this was my first week at the Garten. So on my hot plate drop, I had some build your own cookie bundles, and in those I offered s'mores cookies, chocolate chip cookies, and peanut butter cookies. And then I had some bread, seeded bread. I put buttermilk bread on there, sourdough, and there was rosemary and garlic sourdough. This was my first week offering sourdough. I think I did sell one of them at the actual market. And then I also had cinnamon rolls. So I had cinnamon rolls and spiced and chai spiced cinnamon rolls. And then I had a cinnamon roll duo, which is one regular, one chai. And I got 2 orders from this. So let's talk about those orders. This was my second time doing a drop on hot plate. My first drop was pretty big at the craft fair. The second one, like I said, I had 2 orders. One person ordered 3 s'mores cookies, and they actually came to my house to pick it up, which I don't like when people do that. But I did know this person, and they weren't going to be available, and they wanted to get stuff for their girlfriend. So I was like, okay, fine, you can come to my house. I did have another person who missed this drop who came to my house and picked up 4 cinnamon rolls. Again, I don't like it, but we do what we can right now, you know? And then one of my friends also placed an order for 1 chai spice cinnamon roll and 1 s'mores cookie. And everybody got their orders, and it was very nice. So that is the total for hot plate. Let's go over to Square and see what at market performance was. 14 transactions was pretty good. A little over 4 transactions an hour. Yikes. Plus people picking up and talking to a lot of people. It's okay. Like, this market was free for me to be there. It's not all about making the most amount of sales and transactions. I don't know if I said it on here, but my goal for this entire week at these free markets is $150 in sales, not profit, in sales, and $100 at the actual market. And however that adds up to 150, whether it includes the pre-orders or not, that's my goal. We did hit our goal. We did it. Yay. So this is just week 1 at this market. I've already gone to the second market of this one, and I have another one the week after that. I'm doing this market 3 times in April. So yeah, follow along for more. I already have the next market vlog filmed. I just needed to do this recap. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to judge a market that's just starting out and trying to grow, and it's also free for me to be there. It's really about community building at the end of the day. So, sorry I just moved the mic away from me. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next market vlog. Bye.